Hello, BookTube. I got a little miscellanea video for you today. Little bits and bobs here and there that I thought I'd lump into one video. We'll see how it goes. The first thing I wanted to do was address a question that dozens of you have emailed me in the last couple of days, wondering what I thought about the announced long list for the Man Booker Prize. Of course, it's right up my alley, but it caught me a little unprepared, and I am preparing now to a video about the Man Booker Prize that I will drop, as the kids say. I think on Monday. I think by Monday I'll be ready. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. That's all. And at least I don't think the video will be anything special, but at least to let you know that I am aware of it. Of course, I follow the news in the book world. And then the next thing I wanted to do was show you two books that I got yesterday. One that I didn't film the openings. I tear into these things so often sometimes without thinking that I didn't open them on camera. One of them, immensely pleasing, a Steve book if ever there was one. Johann Fried's 700-page biography of Charlemagne. This is an English language translation of his 2013 book, Karl der Grosse. And in this instant, it made me overjoyed to see it, even though it has a hideous cover. But in this particular instance, I have already read the book. I read it when he first wrote it because it was right up my alley. It was just so fascinating to me at the time. But I got this in the mail and squealed all over again, like I'd never read it. I'm so happy that there are organizations in the world, in the book world and in America, that will translate a long academic work of history from another language in the hopes of finding an audience. This thing is coming out in October. It's going to be $40. It won't be much of an audience. Certainly, the general readership, I can't imagine there'll be many people who will wander into a bookstore, see this in a hardcover, and pay $40 for it. I find that hard to believe. I think the sales are probably locked up in university libraries and whatnot. But I'm happy to see it anyway. And the other book that I wanted to show you that I already opened didn't make me happy, to put it mildly. It's from Yale, and it's this. And you might glance at it without seeing the cover and say, "Ooh, Yale's reissuing Possession by A.S. Byatt. How fascinating!" And I might agree with you, but that's not what they're doing. And then you might think, well, okay, it's not a reissue of Possession by A.S. Byatt, even though it has the cover of Possession by A.S. Byatt. Maybe it's a study of Arthurian mythology. That would be apropos. Or maybe it's a book about the pre-Raphaelites. No. No. It's called At Twilight They Return, a novel in 10 tales by Ziriana Zatelli, translated from the Greek by David Connolly. It's a novel. It has nothing to do with Merlin and Nimue. It has nothing to do with the pre-Raphaelites. It's a novel, sharing the same cover as the U.S. edition of one of the most famous novels in the last 30 years. I cannot fathom why a publishing company would do this. I just can't. Why anyone at Yale would say, well, of all the pictures that we can pay a small price to use as the cover of this book, why not use this one? Why not just have the cover be a young woman swimming with a shark's head coming up underneath her? How about that? Huh? Or maybe an apple being held in a hand against a black background. The only explanation I can come up with for why people in Yale's design company gave this novel, just a random novel, the same cover as one of the best-known novels of our time is a very depressing reason. The only reason I can think of is that the person who selected this and the committee that approved it did not contain a single person who reads enough to say, well, we can't use that cover. I mean, we should pick another painting. But anyway, the last thing I wanted to natter about before my voice gives out and before your patience gives out, I want to do a tiny little book opening. I know I did one just recently, but part of today's mail shipment was girthy. and those I always want to open on camera. I got, first of all, 2 boxes. And boxes show ambition. So let's see what the first one is. They can also be big books. Steve likes big books. Oh, the Globe Guide to Shakespeare. Oh my. Oh my. The plays, the productions, the life. The Globe Guide to Shakespeare. Oh, and there's Mark Rylance on the cover. He's starting to creep his way into American movies. He's been a titan of Shakespeare stage forever. Wow, okay. All right, that's number one. Number two is slightly smaller. Might not elicit quite the same ooh or ah, but you never know. Let's see what this is. Joseph, A Portrait Through the Ages by Alan Levinson. This is a story, a history, sort of a psychological composite of the biblical character Joseph. Fascinating. It's, in all seriousness, sorry that came out sarcastic, but I actually consider it fascinating. I know someone who may or may not be watching this video who may find this even more fascinating than I do. But I still find it plenty fascinating. So this comes out on September 1st. And you know, again, this is what is this? University of Nebraska Press. It's going to be $33. I just don't know. I don't know who the audience is for these things anymore. I guess I've been out of bookstores too long. I can't imagine an ordinary reader. I mean, a seminarian student, or you know, a Hebrew school student, or something like that. I guess it would have to be in your interest to buy it anyway. But a general interest, history or literature reader, I can't imagine them walking into a bookstore and buying this. But I'll read it, and who knows, maybe it'll be good. And if it is, I'll certainly help to give them motivation to walk into a bookstore and buy it. And then the last one, look at the size of this thing. How could I not open this on camera? Let's see what this is. Probably multiple books. Oh, it is. It's multiple books. Okay, so book number one. These are from One World. Excellent. The Trials of the King of Hampshire, Madness, Secrecy, and Betrayal in Georgian England. Doesn't that sound good? Serial meets Downton Abbey with a hint of Sumner Redstone. Some blurb writer earned their paycheck that week. Excellent. Okay, and this comes out in mid-October. We are now in a neck-and-neck race between the end of this package and the end of my voice. Let's see who wins. Here's the next one. From One World Books. Thomas Rydell, The Hermit, winner of the Glass Key Award for Best Nordic Crime Fiction in 2015. So this is another translation. Translated by K.E. Semmel. It was originally published in the Danish as Eremitten in 2014. Okay, so it's a big Nordic crime novel. Like, once again, I know somebody who would like this more than I would, but I will still like it. This is early November, and then the last one in this package. What is this? Shadow Wars by Christopher David, The Secret Struggle for the Middle East. I think, as I may have complained to some of you already, I'm getting a wee bit tired of reading and especially writing about the Middle East, but I'm never not fascinated by it. And this looks really good. So, this comes out in mid-November as well. And this, I could easily see myself not only reading but reviewing. I will certainly pitch it. We'll see. Okay, so there you go. That's a bit of singing praises, a bit of carping and criticizing, little mail opening, and a whole bunch of froggy croaking. So let me know what you think about any of this, and if your main thought is, good God, don't do one of these again, let me know that too. I'll see you soon, BookTube.